principal residence. That's a homestead.
Recording
And
has
it's
started, guys.
automatic. You have to apply.
No, I know. I hear animation.
Is she shushing me?
Yes, basically.
No.
It's the avoidance of a hot mic.
For your own good. I'll let it pass.
I did hear you.
Is that resolution 7?
It was F. Okay. Okay. Yes.
Gary's the only guy. All right, everybody ready?
Some birds.
Good evening, everybody. Beautiful night. I'd like to call to order the June 3rd, 2026 Palisades School District Board of Directors meeting. If we could all rise and salute our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We will turn to Dina to call the roll.
Director Muir?
Here.
Director Freeman?
Here.
Director Hallowell?
I am here.
Director Landis?
Here.
Director LeBlanc?
Here.
Director Nielsen?
Here.
Director Ott?
Here.
Director Ramos?
Here.
Director Wenzel?
Here.
And Superintendent Dr. O'Connell.
Here. Thank you so much. By way of announcement, an executive session was held on Wednesday, May 27th, 2026 to discuss personnel. And an executive session was held this evening, Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 at 6:15 p.m. to discuss safety and security. All right, turning to our favorite part, our district recognitions and presentations as we close out the year. Dr. O'Connell.
Thank you. So we have several recognitions before our final budget presentation this evening, and I am thrilled to see some of our most recent alumni who just graduated on Friday back with us today, so welcome. And some older alumni are with us, including Tom Brader, who is going to present our first round of presentations and recognitions, or Brian Gilbert. or
Well,
both of you
I'll
together.
introduce Tom. How about
Oh,
that?
perfect. Someone who needs no introduction, but yeah.
So I just wanted to start off by saying this never gets old, coming here and talking about what we're going to talk about. It just seems like yesterday we were talking about Thomas Smigo or Savannah Witt, or more recently, Bryce Snyder. So tonight we're here to honor another state champion. So I'm going to have Coach Brader come on up and talk about our newest state champions.
I'm not sure.
Gary.
Even there. There's a mic. I don't even need a microphone.
But
How about here?
Thank you.
So you're gonna ask me to say.
Yeah.
Please do.
that was a magical back and forth. All right, good evening. Thank you very much. I love to come and see you guys in June, which means good things happen to us in Shippensburg. Aston Fitzgerald, Grayson George with me. Silas Day is a family get-together in Maryland, and we were just up at a passing scrimmage in Allen, and Lincoln Cook broke his collarbone. So he's in the hospital right now. So that's where he is. So that's why he's not with us today. I'm here to talk a little bit about the state championships at Shippensburg this year. First off, Silas, who isn't here, Silas for us this year ran the 100, the 400, the high jump, the 4x4, the 4x1, the shot put, and the discus. He threw 50 feet, 1 1/4 inch for second place in the league districts. He broke the school record in the discus with 168 feet, 4 inches. He competed in the shot, the discus, and the 4x1 at states. And he took 6th place in the discus at states. Lincoln Cook ran the 1, the 2, and the 4x1. At the Colonial League meet, he took 3rd place in the 100 and 3rd place in the 200. And we took 2nd place in the 4x1 at the league meet, but we broke the school record with a 42.57. At the district meet, he was 3rd in the 100 and earned a share of the district record in the 100. He was 3rd in the 200 and was part of the district championship 4x1. And the reason I tell you he was 3rd in the 100 and 3rd in the 200, because at states, he finished 2nd in the 100, beating both boys that beat him at leagues and districts. And so he came back and he ran a great race there. So as far as the 4x1, the 4x1 is composed of Silas Day, Ashton Fitzgerald, Grayson George, and Lincoln Cook. Last year, they finished 4th at the state meet, and our motto was unfinished business. This year, we started running fast times right off the get-go. At the league meet, we were 2nd, like I said, with a 42.57. We lost to the 1st place team by 0.02, which was a 3A school. So in the district meet, we won the district championship, set the district record, and so we were ready to go. We were top seed when we got to the state meet. In our first day of competition on Friday, we finished 3rd, and we actually bobbled one of our handoffs. And so as they were on the track, getting ready to come off, I was ready to talk about, practicing, getting ready, we'll fix it. And by the time they saw me, they said, we eat at 7 a.m. tomorrow, we're on the track at 8. I said, fine, let's go do it. And so the next morning we went out, it was 52 degrees and pouring down rain, right? You could see your breath on that track. And we warmed up and we worked handoff after handoff after handoff. We were soaked. We went back to the dorm rooms and put all our stuff in the dryers. That's how wet we were. It was unreal. We even did starts. We made sure every part of our relay was ready to go. When it was time for the 4x1, we were called onto the track. We went down. The meet got 40 minutes delayed, so the boys sat in the rain on the track. While this was going on, Silas had to throw the shot put. And so what we did is we had him move to the 2nd flight so it didn't coincide with the 4x1. Well, now we have a problem. And so they said to our throwing coach, Coach Snyder, that if he doesn't come down now, he'll be scratched from the entire meet. So we had to get Silas. We had to run down to the shot. He had to take his throws. We then sprinted back to the track, and finally we got on the track. As we were ready to go, the gun went up, and there was a false start. One of the teams actually had a false start, so now we had to reset again. Finally, once it went off, Silas ran a fantastic opening leg. He handed it to Ashton in the back straightaway, who exploded like a shot. Grayson ran the curve as good as I've ever seen anyone run it. And when Lincoln got the baton, he was in third place, and he blew right by everyone, including the announcers on TV. They were just in amazement of how fast he ran. This relay is the first ever boys relay state championship at Palisades. When the boys came off the track, the message to me was finish business. It will be a long time until Palisades sees another boys team as this strong and with this much character.
Congratulations again to your outstanding performances. And Tom Brader, thank you so much for that retelling. We were all on the edge of our seat like, what happened? So thank you and congratulations to the entire team. Next, we have Lori Kesselman here to talk with us about National History Day.
I think I have a few very cool.
So I'll need you at the mic. You can swing it around if you don't want to.
Feel like I can run back.
You can even take it out of the. There you go.
That's good. All right, stand up. Awesome. Does that work? Come stand over here so we can see both sets of people.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm Lori Kesselman, and I teach at the middle school. And we have participated for the past 5 or 6 years in the National History Day contest. And Olivia and Julian both placed in the regional contest at Del Val, which was Bucks and Montgomery County, and placing first and second in the performance category and advanced to the state competition. And they both made the runoffs at the state competition, which was in Scranton, and ended up placing third and fifth at the state competition. Nice. Yeah, it was very impressive because that is from districts all over the state, and they were the top. They did an excellent job, and I was going to I didn't ask Olivia yet, but I did ask Julian if he would like to say a few words about the contest. You're still okay with that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in case you guys don't know what the National History Day contest is, it's a little competition where people bless you, from multiple districts combine their love of history and put it into performances, exhibits, etc., to try to impress judges to win medals, ribbons, and try to place as well as they can to go into multiple little places. Either they start with the regionals, then they go to states, then nationals where they end it, and they pick the winner. We both placed in the state competition, and it overall was a very fun experience, and I learned a lot from it, and I'm super excited to hopefully do it again next year.
What did you have to do?
I chose to make a performance, and I chose a subject about the Danish World War II saboteur, Knud Peterson, and his actions during World War II to talk about in front of the judges. And I had to rehearse my lines at home and practice a ton, and also make props, which actually was a lot of fun.
He did a good job. He's dressed in his Peterson outfit.
This is the outfit that I used for the performance, except I had dress shoes. But, and yeah.
Olivia, would you like to say something?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I did a performance about Deborah Sampson. She was the first woman to be in the military. She actually disguised herself as a man so that she could be in the military. Yeah.
Well, what was original about your performance?
Oh, I did a dance to it. So yeah.
They both did a ton of research and wrote a script, and Olivia recorded her script and then created music to go with it, and then performed a dance to go along with it. And that was something that they had never seen before. And so both of them were in the performance category, but there are some other categories to National History Day contest. One of them is a documentary, and Nico LeBlanc, who's not here tonight, went to the regional contest and then also to the state contest as well. And he placed third. And his documentary has to do with the metric system and kind of why are we still using it, and or why are we not? And so the nice thing about the contest is it allows kids to find an area of interest, do a ton of research. They learn how to write an annotated bibliography. They have to write a process paper. All of that gets sent ahead to the judges. It is a very time-consuming process, right? And yeah, I think it's a great project and teaches a lot of skills. So.
I'll jump in because Nico said he 100% had to be at the soccer game tonight and couldn't be here. But not only did we have, I think, the best showing we've ever had at Palisades at National History Day, we also had the most participants this year, I think. At the regional competition, we had to have, there was like 20 middle school. There was a good,
There were,
so
yes,
it was a significant showing and absolutely on par with Central Bucks and some of the other schools in Bucks and Montgomery. So an absolutely exceptional experience,
And
you know,
without
which
going
I
back to the
appreciate
kids.
because my son is all math and science. So to have a history event, you know, it's an opportunity to kind of geek out on something different and new and all by yourself and in an area that you just get to explore.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, this year when we went to states, people knew Palisades, so that way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you and congratulations. Hopefully everyone that was here had the opportunity to go through the student art gallery and see some outstanding pieces of artwork and literature on the wall. And to explain a little bit more about that, I'm going to invite Rose Lipton and Lauren Sunday up to talk about that project. Thank you.
Hello?
I turned it off, I think. So,
Okay. Hello? No. How do I do it?
flip up.
Okay. There we go. All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming to our gallery opening. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how this started. I was covering for Rose's class. Students are all working, and as I'm walking around, I see some poems on the wall, and I start reading them, and I get to the bottom, and I saw that the author, Caleb Diaz, and I was like, what? I'm just blown away. I read another one, it's Anna Russo. I'm like, I know these kids. I know that they're in my class. And I'm like, I can't even believe this. And I thought about how if you are an art seeker, you can go to museums or you can go to galleries. But even if you're not an art seeker, you can see art on in the halls of schools, offices, parks, buildings, murals. It's all around us. But if you're not a poetry seeker, how do you ever see and hear these poems? And if there was one on the wall, would you stop and read it? So I thought about how we need to do something for this art, for the poetry. We need to do something for it. And Rose is the facilitator for our chess club. So I came to Rose at a faculty meeting and said, hey, what if we put the poems on chess pieces?
And I am no expert in the artistic arena, and I said to Lauren, how on earth are we going to do that? And so we came up with an idea to find resources to create a chess set. And the story goes very briefly like this. Thank you to generous funding from PCF. We were able to get the resources
Lauren and amazing students who create the beautiful chess pieces you see out there. And then we worked again on some amazing creativity and out of the box thinking. We worked with the journalist program here at Howard Cities, and the journalist program created lino cuts that represented them, their passions, their families, and what they feel about our community, and then we created the beautiful quilted chess board that you see hanging up in the exhibit. And we have to again thank you to Monica, the CEO of All Guidance Council, for being the expert quilter. We will have to rely on others. And so really, this has been a whole interdisciplinary PHS investigation 2 years, and I've learned that many of the things come from school and work in collaboration with amazing colleagues. And also thank you for the support from the administration, from Richard Kevin, for mentoring through this exhibit process, and for all the support of the community. So it's been great, and we'll have the exhibit up for students to see in the fall and to hopefully go around with poems or chess pieces and really use this beautiful art space that we have. So thank you, everybody. I'm so glad that you are so glad you have this other classroom. So next we have to go lastly to talk with us a little bit about the parent community work. Thank you so much. So the Bucks County Area Union has been operating the parent community work for a number of educators throughout Bucks County this year. And most recently it was almost as if for one of those surprise celebrations that Dylan Fidel, who was no surprise or shock to any of you, was offered with this presented this award this year from Marianne Delicious, who works in Canada, which is the location of the Bucks County Area Union, and she wanted to provide this award to Dylan and Mr. Fidel for his work with STEM education throughout Bucks County and here in Cal State. Specifically, this year, I think I mentioned before, but Dylan was very diligent in working with our chief science officers throughout the county this region, and his work actually contributed to a grant that was provided to the Bucks County Area Union equaling $90,000. And that money is being used to help support the chief science officers program throughout the 4-county region, both here in Bucks County and Cal State, and like I said, the region that we're in. So again, I want to give congratulations to Dylan Fidel, and many thanks to him for the work he does on behalf of our students. And fun fact, I met with this professor today, I'll be mentoring him his supervision for curriculum instruction certificate, and he's meeting on Saturday to clarify for 2.5 weeks this current Fulbright scholarship to study there for 2.5 weeks. So look up to clarify, he's not taking me, you can speak Spanish and I do, it's fine, I don't have to write this. But I can congratulations to Dylan all work because I have to say that to students. So thank you. This birthday has the main task of looking out the final budget presentation for 26-27 school year. So he's getting ready. Again, congratulations to all those students and staff that we recognize today. Good evening, directors and Cal State community. Please present the final budget. We'll start by taking a look at 25-26 and seeing how we're going to add and roll into the 26-27 values that are in the budget. And finally, we'll end by looking at the changes from this iteration to the last iteration that you saw, and close out by seeing what the tax impact is on the average taxpayer. So let's get started. For general fund revenues, our biggest source is obviously real estate taxes. We believe we're going to end at 28.97 against the budget of 29.6. Interim real estate taxes, we think we'll end at 100,000. HERDA 31. Payment in lieu of taxes 5,200. Earned income tax 3,200. 3.2 million, sorry, not 3,200.
Real estate transfer, 700,000. Delinquent real estate, 800,000. Investments, 1.2 million. Admissions, 25,000. Fees, right around 13,000. IDEA, 269.9 thousand. Rentals at 90,000. Private contributions at 70,000. Evening school tuition at 38,000. Receipts from other LEAs, this would be like tuition, 27,000. Other tuition patrons, 22,000. Miscellaneous revenue at 81,000. Refund of prior year expenditures, 441,000. This is actually the difference between the amount of special education services paid for last year at the intermediate unit and what was actually used. So there was a credit. Energy efficiency, a de minimis amount. Basic ed, I'll call it 4 million. Charter schools, nothing. Tuition orphans, 150,000. Special education, 1.2 million, composed of two elements. One is the core special education subsidy from the state. The other is for the special ed contingency funds. That's for your heavy hitters. We got 150,000 for that. Pupil transportation subsidy, 900,000. Non-public and charter, 38.5. Rentals seeking fund for PlanCon, 53,000. Health services, 30,000. Feminine hygiene products, 2,500. Property tax reduction, 1.5 million. Sewage treatment, 85,000. Safety and security de minimis. School mental health and safety, almost 96,000. Ready to Learn Foundation, 67,000. Ready to Learn Adequacy Supplement, 50,000. 50,000 was the bare minimum that any school district in the state received as the adequacy supplement. Social Security, 803,000. Retirement, 3.6 million. Title I, 222. Title II, 35. Title IV, 18. And finally, we end with access at a little over $10,000. All told, 49,119,000 is the projected revenue. Now let's look at projected expenditures. This is by object code. Salaries we have coming in at 20,780,000 compared to a budget of 21.5. Benefits we have it coming in at 14.6 million against the budget of 14.8. Professional services we have coming in at 3.8 million against a budget of 3.5. And I would just simply point out with professional services, Colleen will be doing some budget transfers in special education, and you'll see those come through this month. Property services, we have at 665,000. Other purchase services, 7.2 million. Supplies, 2.7 million. Property, 1.2 million. That's where the bulk of your capital program is. Other objects, 197,000, that includes interest on the bonds. And then other uses of funds, which is principal, 635,000, all told 51.9 million. Against the budget of 57.3 million. Looking at expenditures on the 26-27 budget. Let's start by function. The function 1100 series, that's where your instruction is, 20.2 million. Special education sub-functions, 9.6 million. Vocational education, 1.2 million. Other instructional services, 166,000. That includes homebound instruction. Adult programming, 29,000. Community college, 25,000. All told for the 1000 series, 31.2 million. In the 2100 series, which includes guidance services as an example, 2.5 million. In the 2200 series, which is where your curriculum is, 1 million. Administrative functions, 4.2 million. Health services, 690,000. Business office functions, 1.2 million. Maintenance and security, 5.1 million. Student transportation services, 3.3 million. That includes an allowance for diesel and gas. The 2800 series, which is where technology is, 1.4 million. Other support functions, 13,000. All told, the 2000, which is your support services, 19.5 million. School athletics and activities, 1.1 million. Scholarships, 20,000. In the 3000 series, it's 1.1 million. Building replacement, this is where the bulk of the capital projects are, 6.9 million. Debt service, 633,000. Contingency, 241,000. So in the 5000 series, it's 874,000. All told, the budget is 59,627,000. Now let's look at it at an object level. Salaries were in at 21.8 million. That's a slight increase over 26, but remember, in 26, you budgeted salaries in contingency. The $1 million of salaries was budgeted in contingency. So it's actually a decrease over last year. Benefits, 14.6 million, a decrease over last year of 14.8. Properties, professional services, 4.1 million. That's where the largest source of that is the IU contract. Property services, 715,000. Part of that includes capital projects. Other purchase services, 8.1 million. We budgeted, take a look at see that object code 513, which is boosted by 300,000 over the current year's budget. That's allowing for diesel and gas expenses to be higher than they are in the current year. Charter school tuition, actually a decrease. That's because of the new formulas that PE put into place that make it cheaper to pay tuition for cyber schools. Supplies, 2.5 million. That's a decrease. In supplies in the 26 school year was a large budget for capital projects. Not sure why that was put there, but it was under general supplies. Equipment and capital, 6.6 million. That reflects your capital budget. Object 800, which includes contingency, judgments against the LEA and interest serial bonds, 518,000. Other objects, which is principal, 589,000, all told 59,627,000. What is important to note is that once you take out the capital projects from both budget years, budget year 26-27 is a significant decrease over budget year 25-26. So we tried to take out all the slack out of the budget that had been building. Let's take a look at the revenue. Real estate, we have coming in at 30.5 million. That's a 2.5% tax increase. Interim real estate, 113. PERDA, we have budgeted flat at 31.7. Payment in lieu of taxes, we have budgeted flat at 5,000. Earned income tax, we have at 3.1 million. Real estate transfer, we have at 728,000. Delinquent real estate, 765. Investments, 900,000. We've built in at least one interest rate cut. Admissions, we have budgeted pretty flat, 28. Fees, we have budgeted pretty flat at 13. IDEA, we have a slight bump budgeted at 279. Rentals, we have pretty flat at 68.5. Contribution private sources, we have at 83. Evening school tuition, we have at 33,000. Other tuition patrons, we have at 8,500. That one's hard to predict who shows up. Miscellaneous revenue, we have at 19.5. Refunds of prior year expenditures of 100,000. Energy efficiency at 4,000. Basic ed formula, we have in the governor's budget proposal, which is 3.38 million. Tuition orphans, we have 170,000. Special education, we have in the governor's budget, plus a contingency allowance, 1.2 million. Pupil transportation subsidy, 950,000. Non-public and charter, we have flat at 38.5. Sinking fund at 50,000. Health services, pretty flat at 29.5. Property tax reduction is known at 1.5. Sewage treatment, we have flat at 85,000. Safety and security, we have at 50,000. School mental health and safety, we have 75,000. Ready to learn block grant, we have flat at 117,000. Social security, we have 825,000. Retirement, 3.6 million. Title I, 225. Title II, 36,000. Title IV, 19,000. Access, we have money at the state. All we have to do is do a drawdown of that money, so we know we can hit the budget number of 175,000. That directly offsets special education expenditures. And then we have access, which is the administrative claims side of Medicaid at 15,000, pretty flat. All totaled 49,500,000. So let's go through the changes since you last saw this budget. We promised you reductions in special education. You see a lot of that reflected here. Other professional services down 150,000. We offset that with contingency. Claims down 75,000. We offset that with contingency. Homebound tuition other 60,000 reduction. We offset that with contracted services and diesel. Life skills IU is a slight increase at 79,000. Technology supplies a slight increase of 1,000. BCBA from BCIU at a 0.3 FTE at 52,000. Emotional support software 3,000. Autistic support IU a decrease of 795,000. Multiple disability support an increase of 160,000, and then SAP we have an increase of 260,000. In capital projects, we had an increase at the treatment plant of 300,000. Palms Auditorium an increase of 1.2 million. Palms HVAC controls a decrease of 330,000. The tennis court, we had an increase of 44,000. You'll see me come back to that in a second. PHS intrusion system, we have in at 30,000. We made some updates to salary and benefits in May at 72,000. We had additional revenue from taking the tax increase from 1% to 2.5% of 468,000. So all told, that changed the budget by 295,000. We added in money for the survey and the KCBA study, 25,000. We offset that with contingency. Tennis court, we peeled 37,000 off. We offset that with contingency. And then we went back and we budgeted probable retirements and the payouts that we owe folks by contract. Act 93, 163,000. Teachers and aides, 44,000. Facilities, 8,000. Custodian, 15,000. We offset all of that with contingency of 231,000. Made another slight adjustment in payroll and benefits, 44,000. We offset that with contingency. So stepping back to take a mile high view, we also did a budget projection by function. I think that one is too generous. It by function, we would have you coming in at 53.5 million in 26. I actually think the object code is more accurate. That's at 51.9. So we start with a fund balance of 31.1. We add in revenues of 49.1. We subtract expenditures of 51.9. That's a year-end deficit position of 2.8 million. So that would start our fund balance at 28.2 million. Add revenues of 49.5 million. Subtract expenditures of 59.6. That would leave you with an all-in fund balance of 18.1. So from fund balance, that's 10.1 million total. 2 million of that is the dedicated retirement spike fund. 7.1 million of that is capital projects. So your overall deficit is 952,000. And then we just have a look, see if you wanted to go with a smaller tax increase, what those deficits look like. One thing that we should continue to talk about as a board is, do we want to do a bond issue this year instead of draining our fund balance for the 7 million? That's a conversation we're going to pick up again at fiscal on June 15th, and we may come back to the board as soon as June 17th for discussion. All right, I've done a lot of talking at you. What questions do you have?
We're in shock.
I'm sorry?
I think we're in shock.
Yes, the numbers you have for 26, that's the current budget,
That's the current budget.
and the actuals for 26 are up to May?
I did do a look-see up to May. These are as of April 30th. I did remember, we just rolled the clock into June, so we're still closing May.
Right.
I did do a projection as of May 31st. I landed really close to the projection as of April 30th.
So take from that, the budget, the 26 budget, the actual numbers are gonna come in pretty close to that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that. Thank you.
I spent a lot of time on projections.
Yes, you did.
Did we get any further information on Title III?
Yeah, so, I'm gonna, if Marie's not here, I'm gonna do my best. I did actually make a note to add it to EPS.
Okay.
So we can either discuss it there or that's on here. We don't have anything in this budget for Title III. And the short story is there is money available, but we need to work with a consortium for professional
Yes.
development. So it's not direct money that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That we would apply here.
Got it.
But we'll talk more about it at EPS,
Okay.
but it's not reflected in this budget.
I'd like to say that, according to the agenda, if we vote yes on the agenda item, we are approving a 2.5% tax increase.
Yes,
That's correct.
yes.
I think that there were some of us that did not feel that that was really fair to our constituents. We didn't really delve deeply into that. And the difference between when you look at our fund balance, the difference between the fund balance with a 1.5% increase and a 2.5% increase, it's almost nothing. So I don't see why we should be making our taxpayers have that burden when it's not really going to benefit us. What we need to do is really do a 1.5% increase this year, and then for next year, we need to have work sessions. We need to schedule in work sessions so we can really work on this budget. We've got to bring this down. We're headed into a not good place. And you can talk about a bond, but a bond needs to be paid back. And as we continue to decrease our fund balance, what are we going to do? Every year, we're going to take out another bond? I mean, who's going to pay it back? That's my thoughts.
One handout I have on the agenda that I need to pull up for you is where tax increases are in the county.
I saw that. I saw that. And we don't like those tax increases either. But we have been benefited by boards in the past who have been very fiscally responsible. And I don't know what's happened. I mean, our budget's increased by 2 to 5 million every year. And I know prices increase, everything increases, but somewhere we've got to get a handle on it. We can't keep doing this.
At 2.5% will be the lowest tax increase in the county.
I find that very, very, look, I don't want to, 0.5% is probably one of the higher ones we've had in many, many years. But two things helped me come to make a decision tonight. This chart is one of them, which is what everybody else is doing, and that's certainly not, we've never been where everybody else is, but, and number two is really the inflation rate. So I looked it up for the last year. We're at 3.8% from, their May numbers aren't in, but from April 2025 to April 2026, we are at 3.8% inflation. So to me, 2.5 increase at the very least is a stabilizing measure. I would completely agree with you, Cora. I think if we were completing projects, if we were trying to add to the budget in a time of, I think, fiscal uncertainty for our families, prices are awful for all of us, I think, and we see that with our families and our taxpayers and our seniors, certainly our farmers, but we have some obligation to try to keep up with that inflation rate, or else the difference between what we're charging and what we're paying out is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. But to your point about next year, I think we're totally on board. I think something has to get done, especially when we're seeing the numbers are not increasing in terms of curriculum, in terms of teachers, and they are increasing in terms of gasoline and air conditioning, and that hurts your heart. Right, so I think that rebalancing needs to kind of happen as we look for different things. But the only way I can reconcile the 2.5% is against the inflationary number that we have to, I think, to be fiscally responsible, keep up with the best we can.
I'll just throw out that I think something you also need to take into account is the fact that we had extremely low, and in some cases, no increases in previous years, then starts to create that deficit where possibly we were a little bit too conservative in previous years. And had we tacked on an extra 0.5%, and I don't have those years, but just figure 3 years ago, if we had tacked on an extra 0.5%, and the year after that tacked on an extra 0.5%, well, then to get where we are now, we'd be only looking at 1%. But because we had very low increases previously, at some point, like you have to make things start to come together. So I just take that into account as well. And I do think that we look at this budget awfully hard. I think there was a lot of hard work done on it. That doesn't mean that maybe there wasn't some more. It also doesn't mean that everything that's in this budget has to get spent. So I would just throw that out as well. This is sort of a worst case scenario budget, because if it's not in there, we don't have the ability to spend it. So hopefully we will continue to do, those things all throughout next year, so that, quite frankly, hopefully we're not taking $900,000 from fund balance. So that's my thoughts.
Well, going back to previous years, since I've been on the board, I believe, our budgets have increased by a few million each year. But I think since I've been on the board, we haven't really dipped into our fund balance like we have in the last 2 years. So we've really, look at what's happening to our fund balance just this past, just in this budget. So that's my concern. I have to have a budget in my house, and I make sure that I'm not spending more than what I'm taking in. And we're definitely spending more than we're taking in. And I don't have an answer, but I think that we really need to go back to the drawing board and figure something out.
I also want to thank everybody for the work on this. I mean, it's been a tremendous amount of work from, Dr. O'Connell, from Chris, from Colleen, from the fiscal committee, from the board overall. I mean, it's definitely a rough year, as we can see by those numbers there for everyone. I agree, Scott, when you say, we have things in the budget that, we may not spend and might not use that money. But I have an issue with that from the standpoint of then raising taxes by 2.5%. And of course, you're all waiting for this. My prioritization is academic achievement. So I want to see some support personnel in our budget, especially for, whether it's a coach or an interventionist. And I've said that since December.
I think we've heard from some parents and families that have, and this is a tough place to be in, but two-part. Taxpayers that don't have students in the school have a difficult time with tax increase. Parents who have children in the education system have stood up at our meetings and have said they are okay with the tax increase because they want strong academic and extracurricular programs for their students. And so that leaves us in a very difficult position. I think that the committee and the finance department have done an excellent job in giving us a really wide variety of numbers to look at and to consider, as well as to be able to say, that there have been things that have come out of the budget that were, and hopefully not at the expense of education of the students.
I do think this will be a transitional year for us. I think we have stated it before that we know we are looking at trying to reallocate some uses for some facilities in the district with the potential to receive some income from that. So I think it's going to be a year where we have to just do some hard things and wait to see where the year ends. I guess I'm just curious why we jumped from 1.5 to 2.5 and didn't look at the 2. But either way, it's going to be hard to do and ask our residents to do that. But there's further discussion, I think, that needs to be said as far as where we can maybe trim some things down yet, and maybe look at some other areas where we can add a little more revenue to it, and potentially, I don't know if there's anything we can do to cut some of the capital costs or whatever, I don't know. But we do need to keep working, I think, throughout the year, and I do think the working sessions will be helpful with that.
Anybody else?
I guess I'm gonna look at I'll call it the bottom line. I think I heard Chris say that if you take the capital expenditures out of the last year and this year, our expenses are not up very much or down. I hear they're down. So the administration has done a good job of budgeting down, tight. I've been on the board since we started the increasing the fund balance, and we did it by we knew what we were doing, so we increased the taxes incrementally in a small amount, more than we really needed to build up the fund balance. We're at the point now, and over the past few years, we've been drawing on that fund balance, savings, whatever you want to call it. And it's to the point now where we need to realize that if we don't have the fund balance, and we won't eventually, we're going to have to increase the tax rate substantially in a big jump. So I'm in favor of the 2.5 because it helps save the fund balance and stretch it out a little bit more and just level off the tax increases. I mean, there've always been tax increases. There's always been revenues going up. So that's where I am.
So I'd just like to just thank everyone again, Chris, Colleen, Dr. O'Connell, for a lot of work went into this. We definitely discussed many things when we were at fiscal committee and how we can get to this point where we're at. What I will say is that we have a problem in this country that's only going to get worse over the years, and that's inflation, right? The three heads of inflation. And if you talk to anyone or go visit anyone or look at every time you fill up your gas tank, you know where your money's been eaten. And we're not exempt to this rule here at the school, right? So what we do know, and the facts that we do have, are that the capacity of our buildings right now and where they're running at, and the amount of students that we have in our school district attending our schools. So as we really work forward to work on our consolidation plan, and I mean feverishly this upcoming year, as we work on our consolidation plan, if we do this correctly, you'll see that we'll have more revenues to do things that we want to do for our students, and our taxpayers will benefit as well. But over the years, we've been, and this is before my time here, but there was discussions of consolidating, and it's never come to fruition. Well, I believe that can's been kicked down the road enough, and now we're at this juncture. We have certain buildings with a student population of less than 50%. Our middle school and high school are hovering at 50%. And we have opportunities of outside entities that would want to rent our space to give us more revenue. So I see in this board their duty and obligation to absolutely put their best foot forward and get this job that needs to get done here in the upcoming year. Because these numbers right here, they're not going to change. It's only going to get worse. And the reality is that whatever our government is trying to tell us, that things are going to be better next year, well, we've been around long enough. And we've seen when they say that, what really happens. Just look at the purchasing power that you have this year as opposed to 5 years ago. Those of us, those in the audience as well, that have planned vacations before, well, we'll see how far you're going to go this year. Okay? Things are only going to get tighter for many people, and especially in our community of those on fixed income. And those are the ones I worry as well. When I went to be elected on the school board, I did the one thing was to go and knock on doors and introduce myself. And a lot of the people's doors that I knocked on were the elderly in our community, and they told me about their situation. And I told them that I would work in everything that I could to try to give them a balanced budget. And I'm looking at this board right here, right now. We have a lot of work cut out in front of us in the next year. We've been very cordial and polite to one another. Thank you very much. We've all come to fiscal meetings with our own things. Thank you again for that. But we have to decide, and it will be decided, hopefully sooner than later, before the budget starts percolating in December, how we're going to consolidate our district. And if we want to give our children more, if we want to take care of our taxpayers in the community, if we want to be fair to everyone across the board, we need to start working that. So thank you, everyone.
Okay, I think we are ready to move on to our committee reports for the evening. Dr. O'Connell?
Whew, okay. Hey, everyone. So we had a great week last week with a lot of celebrations, including senior awards, Upper Bucks County Technical School certificate ceremony, high school graduation, which was last Friday, and spectacular weather. It was, I don't think I've ever had a better graduation. And also pre-K graduation was also last Friday. So Betsy, thank you for an amazing job with that. I saw the little 3 and 4 year olds, and then our 17 and 8-year-olds, 18-year-olds graduate in the same day. It was awesome. And finally, I'd like to give a special shout out to Diana Santoro for her work this year in supporting our communication efforts, most particularly with her amazing work with the patch. So kudos to Diana for this year. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Our student representatives have run away for the year, so we will move on to our extracurricular committee with Dr. Rock.
Yeah, extracurricular met last Wednesday. We discussed the fee schedule for renting our facilities. The committee is proposing a 10% increase across the board, which I believe is on the agenda tonight. We also discussed the having retired workers come back to work in the gaming area and have it not impact their PSERs. I believe that's on the schedule tonight. Those are the two big items. We also, Brian Gilbert, I don't know if he's still here, the Ed Ruiz sports dedication, that's on YouTube if you want to watch it. And then he gave a rundown of the spring sports. That's it.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that dedication was remarkably well done. If you haven't watched the ceremony, go by the gym. It's really quite beautiful. Moving on to education programs and services with Dr. Vera.
Okay, at our last board meeting, I gave the May EPS meeting report, and as I had shared then, there are 2 items on tonight's agenda: the adoption of Twig Science and an articulation agreement with Commonwealth University of PA, both of which are recommended for approval by the EPS committee. And then our next meeting is next Wednesday, June 10th, and I encourage everyone to attend to hear about a lot of great things, and especially details of our new middle school schedule for next year. Thank you.
So if I may, I'm wondering if we can get a report on the conversation that we had much earlier in the year around the graduation credit requirements, and how are we doing with having counselors guide our students moving forward that are going to the tech school and getting their required courses in. Can we have an update on that?
For EPS?
I don't care. There, here, whatever.
Dr. Vera, why don't we start with EPS? If I know you've got a packed agenda, if you can't make it, we will look at Plan B. Okay. I don't know what Plan B is, but we'll figure it out. Okay. For our Buildings and Grounds Committee reports, Mr. Freeman, Scott,
Okay.
take it away.
Thank you. Buildings and Ground met on May 27th. We started a little bit late because somebody ran over, but that's okay. The main topic, I would say, the first on the list was the auditorium bid openings that had been done for general contracting. We had 5 bids. For the mechanical were 4 bids, and electrical were 2 bids. Combined, the low bidders together had a total cost project of $3,868,000, which was $293,000 higher than the initial estimate. We did have KCBA have some alternatives so that we could make some choices. After discussing those, it was decided that we could save a little bit of money. So with those taken out, we're at $3,621,000, which is about $46,000 higher than the initial estimate. So recommendations is on tonight's agenda, is to award these bids, and then construction would start July 1st if it moves forward. And then there was a recommendation to send to the fiscal committee to discuss whether it would be appropriate to issue a bond to cover this project. The second thing we discussed, Gary Adams brought to us some issues that have been having with the Raptor system that we have for visitors, and suggested that we consider moving to a new vendor called Visitor Aware. So that you will see on our agenda for this evening to consider. And then we discussed the tennis court repair again, had a few other options that we discussed, and the recommendation is to proceed with a temporary fix. We're hoping that's like 2 years, give or take, but that's just what we're hoping, at a cost of $6,300. And that will be completed over the summer. And then we had some updates on the various projects that have been ongoing, and all of those are on schedule. And our next meeting will be April 22nd.
Scott, can I ask
No.
about
That's not right. I'm reading, and as I'm reading, going, that's not right. So when's our next meeting? 6/24. Thank you.
Can I ask about the tennis courts? No, okay. Because I believe he had on the budget 44,000 for the tennis.
And then he had a reduction
Yeah, I didn't understand. Is that why?
because he gave us all the information to confuse us. Right, Chris?
Yes, it's in the budget at 7,000.
Okay.
Because the other option was to spend like 44,000. So that was originally in the budget. So, but then he had a reduction by the amount that brings us to 7, and the estimate is 63.
Thank you.
No, I'm good. I'll keep moving. All right, moving on to Director Ramos for our Fiscal Oversight Committee report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our next meeting will be held on June 15th, Monday at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Okay. Our Policy Committee Review Committee is in hiatus for the remainder of the year, so we will see you again next year. Upper Bucks County Tech, our JOC reports.
Good evening, and I just want to make a reminder that there will be summer camp held June 22nd to 25th at the cost of $15 per student. No, that's not right. I think it's 150. I missed the zero there, sorry. 15 sounds really good though, doesn't it? At $150 per student. And the students grade 3 to 5 will be 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and students entering grades 6 to 8 will be 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. So other news from our JOC meeting on May 21st. The student of the month was Luis Menta, the 5th, a Quakertown student in the electrical program. And this is amazing. A historic, perfect 100% Nazi achievement was attained by Crystal Torres, a Penridge senior in the dental careers program. And then we're going to move to Palisades. We had an industry certification milestone was attained by our own Rafael Donofrio, who became the first Upper Bucks student to pass the CompTIA Network Plus certification exam. So that's pretty exciting. And we also had UBCTS and Palisades alumni, Evan Stauffer, who is with the Ironworks Local 401, and he took first place in the District Council Apprentice competition. So congratulations to all of them. And to finish off the news, 10 Upper Bucks County Technical School culinary arts students made a massive splash at the Walt Disney World World Strides Cook Around the World competition, placing second among 28 entrants in the entree competition. That was really exciting. And the JOC was honored to have them cook their winning entree for us. And it was delicious and it was greatly appreciated.
What was it?
I can't pronounce it. It was something I had never heard of before, but it was good, right? It was really good. Yeah, it was. We get delicious meals down there, so that's a benefit, definitely. So the Facilities and Finance Committee meetings will be held tomorrow evening, June 3rd at 6 p.m. in the JOC boardroom. And the Policy and Program Committees will meet Thursday, June 18th at 5:45 p.m. in the JOC boardroom. And the next regular JOC meeting will also be held Thursday, June 18th at 7 p.m. in the JOC boardroom. And the full agenda will be posted on the website. Thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you so much. Director Hollowell with our Bucks County IU report.
IU will meet in 2 weeks, the 16th. On tonight's agenda, there's attachments from the IU. They have all the news, the e-news, the legislative update, the minutes, and also e-news. And they're pretty comprehensive and pretty amazing things going on down there. So if you get a chance, take a look at them. They're there.
Thank you very much. So we'll move to either Director Landis or Director Nielsen. I'll find out in a minute. It looks like Director Nielsen's warming up for PSBA liaison.
Okay, so I brought my copy of the bulletin, and so hopefully you've seen this, but I marked the page because it's the snapshot, if you haven't seen it, but it features Palisades, Durham Knockmixon, and a high school student reading to, or wait, middle school maybe, a middle school student reading to elementary students. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really, I just think it's so precious because in all of the schools across Pennsylvania, we've been in this bulletin and recognized multiple times, and I just think that's really great. So other things that are happening with PSBA, the School Leadership Conference is now open for registration, and that is being held October 18th to the 20th at the Kalahari Resort and Convention Center in the Poconos. If you're interested, you can register online. And also, you can access, if you get this in the mail, but if you prefer to read it online, you can access it online if that is your preference. And PSBA is accepting the Pennsylvania Education Innovation Awards, and they celebrate visionary leadership in public education, and nominations for the 2026 awards are open through July 31st. And I think that's about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That's it. We don't have any committee approved expenditures. So moving on to public comments for the first public comment period for items on the action agenda item. And we have up first Jim Nielsen from Springfield Township.
I was taught from a young age, visual aids are very effective.
Especially when they're big enough for old eyes.
So for those, this is the preserved ag preservation lands of Bucks County. And obviously Palisades School District's at the top of the county. So I have you look at it. This is current. This was printed off about a month ago. I am on the board, the ag preservation. I'm acting treasurer. We have another board member with us, Art, who is the acting chair. He can answer questions if there are any to be asked. I want to share with you at your leisure. These can be found online. Anyone that was trying to understand ag preservation, if they went to the Googled at ag preservation Bucks County, they would have found a page which had this document. Also, the program guidelines. I was privy, because my wife's on board, that there were some questions. And there were a few people that called in to the county asking. I had a conversation with our executive director about those conversations, and there was still some confusion even after she explained to the people calling in. There were 2 different people called in from representing Palisades. I'm hoping this component, I had to do this 3 years ago. I want to explain, this is a point of order, Act 319 is not part of ag preservation. Most of our community is in Act 319. They get a reduced tax rate, and that's handled by the Board of Assessment. It has nothing to do with ag preservation. It's a prerequisite if you want to be preserved, but it absolutely has nothing to do with this. So the county is actively seeking violators of Act 319. I've had a few farmers come up to me who had people that were being a little extreme with what they were asking for to run their ground, and they opted not to farm their ground. And no farmer would farm the ground. So the county actually sent a letter to them saying they were going to be removed from 319, 7-year payback. So that changes a lot of attitudes. Obviously, I'm a reserve farm. I'm in costume. I was out in the field today working, as I suspect someone else at the board might have been out trying to make some hay. We have in this municipality, as Palisades School District, we have 76 properties, 79 properties that are preserved. That totals approximately 6,200 acres of preserved ground in this district. The county overall has 256 properties preserved, and they have 19,000 acres there. So Upper Bucks is a large area of preserved grounds. Part of the program that we give to people is that we offer a tax freeze, and it's an incentive. These people that give up their right to sell their ground for development are giving up a lot. They do get compensated a value, but obviously it's a lot today, not as much in the future. So hopefully those people that get that allotment do something wise with that investment. But I know our farm was preserved in 2010. I can speak to myself. In 2010, we preserved our farm. We had offer that came in the mail that showed spring run estates. And I have my mother-in-law behind me. When she received that glossy, I want to tell you something. The Pennsylvania Dutch flew in the house. All of us are like that. So there's other people that can speak to it. I'm speaking to you at the program. If there are any questions concerning the program, I hereby notify you. I am on the board. I'm a resource for you to ask. If I don't have the answer, it's just a click away for the answer. I leave these for anyone that's interested in that.
Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. Okay, we have more. Okay, sorry. Amy Wright from Tinicum Township.
Okay, well, I timed myself before this, and I definitely am gonna be over 3 minutes, so is that what that is? It's gonna cut me off. All right. You all kind of spoke to a lot of things I was coming here to talk about tonight already, so I'm just gonna read this because I haven't prepared. There are a lot of amazing things to celebrate here at Palisades. Our kids are phenomenal, our staff is incredible, and we are unique amongst other school districts. I'm here tonight, both as a teacher and a mom in the district, with so much on my mind, because in recent weeks, I have had some tough conversations and found out about 9 entire families who are seriously considering and actively looking at getting their kids educated outside of Palisades for next year. These are just families that I happen to know here and there. The other night when I saw another mom who I trust and respect with her decisions, she posted in a parent group looking for feedback on a new school. I decided to come here tonight. These are all families who care about their kids' educational quality. They're not there to look for religion or cultural issues, obscure extracurricular activities. So these people who are looking, they're not looking to move houses. They want to stay in Palisades. These are current PSD families, K through 12, and they're looking at charter, private, and homeschooling options. Their reason is the same. They're dissatisfied with Palisades. Program cuts, continually offering less, frustrations with student behavior, decrease in student outlook, and overall a negative environment that has resulted. I am concerned about this because we've heard for years our population is decreasing. You spoke about capacity earlier tonight. Cuts are being made. They are greatly affecting those of us who remain. Is that it?
No.
Okay. All right. For example, we have gone from 43 sections of high school math. I'm a high school math teacher here. 8 years ago, 43 sections of math to 26 sections next year. That reduction in offerings does not match the same loss in our population. In many instances, staff are shifted around to different positions, but we have been told, well, at least they get to keep a job. In recent board meetings, you have discussed our financing as a district. It sounds like an amazing feat. I can't imagine. But that we don't have the money, and students that have been at these meetings for other reasons have expressed their concern about our financial well-being. We should be investing in our schools and our programs, not scaring our children into thinking that we can't afford their American right of free education. Is that my time? Okay.
Yeah.
So what should I do?
Go ahead.
Leave?
Just keep going.
No, just
keep going.
I mean,
okay, I can come back up. I'll be here.
If you have just a little bit left.
I'm about halfway through.
Okay, so why don't we call you back
Yes.
at the end? There's
Fine.
another comment period at the end.
Perfect.
And we can offer 3 minutes and we will open it up to the floor.
Thank you.
At the end. Thank you. And thank you for being kind. They did not give me any discretion with these comment periods because they know I'm a softie, and I hate doing it. So, Joanne Allen.
Macomixon Township. The tax increase, am I correct, is $96.48 total for 2.5. Correct. Okay. Do you have any idea over the past 15 years how much we've increased our taxes? Like, even the past 5 years?
And look it up real quick.
Yeah, it's very minimal, I can tell you. I've been here 35 years and it's minimal. So that, I look at New Hope, they're going to do a 6%. They're around the same size as we are. I mean, everybody else has got all these tax increases, and for years we've done like 0 or 0.5 or 0.1, and you're using up all your money, guys. If there's an emergency, you need a roof, you needed generators. There's things that just come up that have to be fixed. You can't let your buildings deteriorate, and you never know. Parking lots. I mean, we try to put them on a cycle where we're redoing all these parking lots, but I don't want to go through a $30 million bond like we did when we did this school, Springfield and Tenneco. That was $30 million. They needed a lot of work. You don't want to get to that point again. And if you don't have to take out a bond, don't take out a bond. So, thank you.
All right, that's it for our first comment period. Thank you, everyone. We will move now to our action agenda items tonight. Action agenda item A.
Hold on. Jim, I'm sorry.
we have folks peeking around.
Thank you. I wish the agenda was that big. Okay. Action agenda item A. A motion is in order to approve the revised job descriptions as follows. Secretary to Warehouse Food Transportation, Business Office and Facilities Secretary, Business Office Secretary dash Accounts Payable, Child Accounting and State Reporting Specialist. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any questions or concerns?
I just want to ask if these descriptions are being brought up so that it is in line with the Act 93 that's going to be voted on further down.
This is when we have a retirement or a resignation, we'll often take a look at that position and make adjustments to see how we can best align our staff that we have and responsibilities. So this is separate and apart from any Act 93 discussion.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Seeing no more questions, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item B. In accordance with Board Policy 006, a motion is in order to approve the consent agenda, which includes minutes of meetings from May 20th, 2026, which was revised on June 3rd, 2026, and our personnel recommendations. I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Jim, okay, I'll say that in a minute. Thank you. Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Saul with the second. Any questions?
I just need to add that Tim Kearns is included on the personnel recommendation page, and he is related to Rodney Hillius, who is a custodian at the high school.
Thank you, Tina. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Sue mentioned last meeting that if you could say your name when you first or second, that when they're listening back, it makes it so much easier. And I completely forgot, so we're a little bit in, but I'll try to do it. But if you try to do it, that's helpful. We used to do it in COVID on Zoom, but it is really helpful if we could get in the habit of doing that. Action agenda item C, a motion is in order to approve the Administrative Compensation and Benefits Plan Act 93 agreement effective July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2029. I need a motion.
Linda, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
This is Scott, I'll second.
Thank you very much. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. And I'll stop there and say a quick thank you to our Act 93 team. I know we were difficult. We were difficult as a board, I'm going to admit it. But I think for the good of the order, we were really trying to take this contract and do something a little bit different than have been done in many, many years. And that took conversation, it took time, it took patience. We had ideas, some of them were good, some of them were not good. We recognize that and appreciate that. But we appreciate you and hope this contract shows that we do appreciate you and hope we feel good about it. But we thank you for your kindness and consideration throughout the process. I feel like I should end with a congratulations. I don't know, that's quite appropriate for a contract, but we'll go with it. Thank you. Action agenda item D, a motion in accordance with the requirements of section 404 of the Pennsylvania Public School Code. A motion is in order to elect a treasurer to serve a one-year term for an annual stipend of $300 beginning the first day of July 2026. Okay. I am now motion to approve. Yeah, we'll take the nominations.
I think you have to do accept it and do the second and then.
Okay. Can I have first for the motion, and then we'll take nominations after.
Karen, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
Cora, I'll second.
Thank you very much. With that, we will open up nominations for treasurer.
I'll nominate Director Ramos.
Okay, we have a Director Ramos nomination. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay.
Linda.
Thank you. All right, any other nominations? Seeing none, will anybody want to move to close nominations?
I will move to close nominations, Karen.
Thank you. To have a second?
Linda, I'll second.
Okay, then we will move to vote, and we are voting on the appointment of Director Ramos, or the election of Director Ramos as treasurer to serve a one-year term. Okay, all in favor, please. Oh, I suppose I should ask you if you're going to accept it. We're just rolling on through. Director Ramos, would you like to accept the nomination?
Might have to take a few minutes. No, I'll accept that.
Thank you, Director Ramos. I didn't have a plan B on that one either. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Congratulations, I think. Action agenda item E. A motion is in order to approve resolution number 4, 2020. Yeah, 2025, 20.
Yeah,
Yes.
this year.
Okay. 2025-2026 pursuant to Act 153 of 1996, exempting certain real estate from further millage increases imposed on real property and setting forth the requirements and procedures related to that exemption as described per the attachment, which is available on board docs. The resolution was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. This motion was tabled at the May 20th, 2026 regular board meeting, and this is a roll call vote. I need a motion.
This is Scott. I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
This is Cora, I'll second it.
Okay. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
So this is what Mr. Nielsen was talking about. Just to clarify, because we really don't, we vote on this every year, but I don't know that we really understand what we're really voting on, but we were discussing it earlier. And so the millage that they're frozen at when they preserve their farm, correct? That they're frozen at a millage. So we vote every year whether or not to keep that frozen. That's what this is, right? So every year we vote on whether or not to keep that frozen. What would happen if we would vote no, that we don't want to keep it frozen? Would it come back the following year, or would that go into perpetuity? Not that I'm saying I'm not going to vote for it, but I'm just, because, we really want to understand that. So since Mr. Nielsen is here, I thought maybe we could get an answer to that.
I think that's a board, I think the board can choose to bring it up or not. I think it's our decision whether to bring it up every year or to accept it for 5 years. I think we have the discretion to do that.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody would love if we could accept it for a longer period of time. But I think that's our discretion to do. There was a discussion, and Scott can correct me, several years ago that the board preferred, at least at that time, to bring it up on an annual basis and to make sure that board's future were comfortable with it. That's why it's annual, but we can change that decision as wanted or needed.
It used to be every 4 years before it changed to annually. And I do understand the moving it less than 4, just so every board has an opportunity to weigh in if it's every 4 years. So, but then the discussion at the time was to bring it up annually to consider it as part of the budget process. So there's a range. Right now we're annually.
Okay, so if we were to vote, and in the future, whether it's this year or later, if we were to vote no, we would again vote next year. So whoever has their farm preserved, they would have to pay the full millage for this year, but then next year we could vote again. Is that what I'm understanding? I don't understand.
I am not an expert, and there are some in the room.
I know.
But I would think, and if you vote no, that you want to extract yourself from this program, that you no longer want to honor, the program, then you're out. I guess you can always come back in, but I would find that.
Okay. I think David Kahn would have to opine because there's due process rights and other things that get associated with these kinds of things. So
there have been a number of questions about it. That's why I'm asking. So I think that would be a good idea to just clarify how, going forward, what that would entail.
Yeah, and I think it's, clearly there's a lot of information just shared, which we'll grab at the end here, but maybe as a matter of practice, we can make sure to have a sit down with our community stakeholders here in the next cycle and make some decisions and see if fiscal or some other variant of the board want to keep it annually and maybe next year we bring it up and it's a 3-year or 2-year. Decisions can be made at that point, but it sounds like there's a lot of misinformation and information that needs to be shared. So perhaps we make a commitment as a board to sit down with our stakeholders and make sure that that happens.
Okay, thank you.
I see red lights. Okay.
I just figure I'll throw this out. And Chris, if you don't have this number off the top of your head, I totally get it. But just because there's some discussion on this, can you just throw out, and I think I remember approximately what it is, what the amount of money we're talking about that gets, because it gets rebated back.
For next year, it's 79,800.
Okay.
So. Okay, anybody else? Again, this is a roll call vote, so seeing no more questions, Dana, can you call the roll?
Director Ott?
Yes.
Director Ramos?
Yes.
Director Wendell?
No, this conversation is exactly what I was asking for a while ago. And to have someone come in and think that we can be educated with a 3-minute speaking time is not sufficient. And when I look at the number of taxing units, the number of preserved farms, listen, people do what they do because they love what they're doing. I see a taxing thing needing to be equal across the board. That's the only way that is actually equitable to everyone. So, yeah, I'm a no.
Director Beer?
Yes.
Director Freeman?
Yes.
Director Hollowell?
Yes.
Director Landis?
Yes.
Director Nielsen?
Yes.
Director LeBlanc?
Yes.
Motion carries 8-1.
Thank you very much. Moving on to action agenda item F. In accordance with the requirements of section 687 of the Public School Code, a motion is in order to approve budget resolution number 6, 2025-2026 for the 2026-2027 school year per the attachments, which are numerous on board docs. I need a motion.
This is Jim. I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Linda, I'll second.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about this already, but happy to engage further or move to vote as needed. Okay. I think we're resigned to the vote. Okay, we'll move to vote then. This is a roll call vote. Tina, can you call the roll?
Director Ramos?
Yes.
Director Wendell?
This one is so difficult for me. I wish we would have discussed 2 instead of jumping right from 1.5 to 2.5. I had said I was going to vote no, because I'm also in agreement with Director Beer that we at least need to give some guarantee to a position for the staffing. I guess I'll vote yes.
Director Beer?
No.
Director Freeman?
Yes.
Director Hollowell?
I'm a yes.
Director Landis?
No.
Director Nielsen?
Yes.
Director Ott?
Yes.
Director LeBlanc?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-2.
Thank you all. I know that was hard. Action agenda item G. A motion is in order to approve resolution number 7, 2025-2026 pursuant to Act 1 of the 2006 Homestead and Farmstead Exclusion per attachment. The resolution was reviewed at the Fiscal Oversight Committee meeting at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. This too is a roll call vote. I need a motion.
This is Cora. I'll motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any?
This is Saul. I'll second it.
Thank you, Saul. Any comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, Gina, will you call the roll?
Director Wendell?
Yes, and just for clarification, this is money that comes from the state for gaming that gets allocated across all the homes that are in the home or farmstead exclusion or inclusion.
Primary
whatever it is, residence, yes.
Director Beer?
Yes.
Director Freeman?
Yes.
Director Hollowell?
Yes.
Director Landis?
Yes.
Director Nielsen?
Yes.
Director Ott?
Yes.
Director Ramos?
Yes.
Director LeBlanc?
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Thank you. Action agenda item H. A motion is in order to approve the school dentist, Dr. Nina Rakowski from Rakowski Dental LLC for the 2026-2027 school year at a rate of $5 per student exam. This was discussed at the May 18th, 2026 Fiscal Oversight Committee meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
This is Director Ramos. I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
This is Scott. I'll second.
Great. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item I. A motion is in order to approve the consent agenda approving the following vendors, General Healthcare Resources, Bayada, Delta T Group, and Source for Nurses to provide substitute services in the areas of nursing and/or paraprofessional support for the 2026-2027 school year. These vendors were discussed at the fiscal committee meeting on May 18th, 2026, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
Director Ramos, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
Linda, I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item J. A motion is in order to approve, my voice is getting deeper. A motion is in order to approve the agreement between Palisades School District and Lakeside Youth Services for special education services for the 2026-2027 school year. The agreement was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. Thank you. I need a motion.
Director Ramos, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
This is Scott, I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? Somebody while I drink. Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item K. A motion is in order to approve the agreement between the Palisades School District and the Council of Southeast Pennsylvania, Inc. to provide Student Assistance Program, SAP. The agreement was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
Director Ramos, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
This is Betsy, I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item L. A motion is in order to approve the 2026-2027 special education services agreement between Bucks County IU number 22 and the Palisades School District. The agreement was reviewed by the Fiscal Oversight Committee at the May 18th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
Director Ramos, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
This is Scott, I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item M. A motion is in order to adopt Twig Science Imagine Learning to support the middle level science curriculum for a preliminary period of 3 years. This was reviewed by the EPS committee at the May 13th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
This is Karen, I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
This is Cora, I'll second it.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item N. A motion is in order to approve the articulation agreement with the Commonwealth University of Pennsylvania to allow for pre-service educators to participate in observation, student teaching, and/or practicum opportunities with the Palisades School District. The agreement was reviewed by the EPS committee at the May 13th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
This is Karen, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. To have a second.
This is Cora, I'll second it.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item O. A motion is in order to approve the revised fee schedule for the use of the Palisades school buildings, facilities, and equipment. The schedule was reviewed by the extracurricular committee at the May 27th, 2026 meeting, and the committee is recommending approval. I'd like a motion.
This is Jim, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
This is Saul, I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item P. A motion is in order to approve the UHRIG Construction as the lowest responsible bidder as the general contractor for the Palms Auditorium renovation for a total cost of $1,469,220. This was discussed at the Buildings and Grounds meeting on May 27th, 2026, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
This is Jim, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Have a second.
This is Betsy, I'll second.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item Q. A motion is in order to approve Tri-County Mechanical Inc. as the lowest responsible bidder as the mechanical contractor for the Palms Auditorium renovation for a total cost of $278,000. This was discussed at the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting on May 27th, 2026, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
This is Linda, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Jim, I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, what is the mechanical? What does that cover?
Electrical.
So there were three, in order for the entire auditorium project, it takes basically three separate types of contractors. So
I see you have the general we just voted on.
right,
And then we have
and
the
mechanical, the
which is coming
electric,
up
so
next.
I don't want to butcher it and say the wrong thing on mechanical, so.
HVAC.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought, but
All
okay.
right, thank you.
The wise owl. Thank you. Where are we? Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item R. A motion is in order to approve Wind Gap Electric Inc. as the lowest responsible bidder as the electrical contractor for the Palms Auditorium renovation for a total cost of $1,873,900. This was discussed at the Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting on May 27th, 2026, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
Linda, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. I have a second.
Jim, I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions?
Wow.
Should have been an electrician. Any other comments or concerns? Seeing none. We'll move
Is
to
that
vote.
basically labor? No. I mean, that's
No, it's a lot of components.
all the lighting and sound system. Okay. So is everything that is there now getting stripped out, or are they building on what they have there?
I mean, I don't think I can answer, I don't think any of us can answer that completely. You'd have to see the plans and so forth. I mean, I will say that, and I brought this up at the Buildings and Grounds, I don't think we had as many options as we should have for this and what we asked for at Buildings and Grounds. And that was a little bit disappointing, but we're here now, and the majority of the people certainly at that meeting that night felt as though this needed to get moved forward as opposed to putting it out further. So
Do you mean we didn't get as many bids as you would like?
it was my no, well, that's always would be better too, especially with the electrical. We only had 2 people bid. I mean, is that the Buildings and Ground Committee asked to make sure that there were options put into the RFP so that we could review options and alternatives for the project. And we did get some, but I'll only speak for myself. In my opinion, we didn't get as many as we should have. But we worked with what we had, and I will tell you that reluctantly, I went along with the vote to move this forward because I do understand that it is, most likely not going to get any less expensive if we put this off another year or 2, and that auditorium is the original from when the school was built. But I am concerned that we didn't have more options so that I could feel more confident moving forward with these numbers. So.
That puts us in a tough spot. We have to vote. That's why I get the big one. Yeah, really. Whoa.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Action agenda item S. A motion is in order to approve the use of Single Wire Software's visitor management system, Visitor Aware, to replace I'm losing it, to replace the current Raptor system. This was discussed at the Buildings and Grounds meeting on May 27th, 2026, and the committee is recommending approval. I need a motion.
This is Scott. I'll make the motion.
Thank you. I need a second.
This is Cora, I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question, and I think I brought this up at the meeting. According to the software, and Gary, I just want to make sure that those in the audience that at home understand, this is a biometric device.
It'll scan your face.
It'll scan your face.
If you opt to scan your face.
If you opt to
You
scan.
can opt out.
Correct. So just want to let people know. So when your face is scanned and your biometrics are scanned, where does it go?
It stays in the system and we can set it up for however many days we want. So it can be expunged from the system after 3 days, after 5 days, after a month, after a year, whatever we decide.
And it goes up into the cloud?
Yes, it goes in the cloud.
Okay. But the option is going to be there. There will be a sign out front of the device that says all that want to opt out
There is
can opt
currently,
out.
yes.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. And finally, action agenda item T. A motion is in order to approve the second read of the following policies, which were reviewed at the policy committee at the April 15th, 2026 meeting. The committee is recommending approval. This is policy 122, extracurricular, policy 810, transportation, 221, dress and grooming, 325, dress and grooming, 236.1, threat assessment, and policy 332, working periods. I need a motion.
This is Karen, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is
Betsy.
Cora, I'll second it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Okay, moving on, Dr. O'Connell, to informational tonight.
Yep, the only thing listed is the committee schedule and the regular board schedule for the 26-27 school year. So everyone can mark their calendars and come on out. Thank you.
So I would like to request at this time that the board decide if we're going to, in fact, include some working sessions and place those in this calendar so we don't have to try and fit them in. I would think it's harder to put them in than it is to take them out.
I will say it's exceptionally difficult in part because, our administration and staff schedules, their Wednesdays around things like this. So there's very few open Wednesdays.
We're talking before board meetings. At least as an option, not that they have to be like that, but Parkland did a working session before their board session.
Okay. My suggestion is that we should, if the board agrees, have a retreat this summer and figure it out. Maybe earlier is better, but I don't know that there's consensus around the working sessions. Happy to incorporate them as needed. But I'd like to get a feel for them because I think the worst thing we can do is have a working session where nobody works or wants to talk, or there's no agenda.
Oh, I doubt that would happen.
I don't know that everybody feels that way. So can the board, we have another board meeting. Can we put this as a discussion item for our next board meeting? And can everybody come prepared with how they feel, their feelings? I need feelings.
Thoughts, we want thoughts on that. So, okay, that being said, I guess I'm just curious too, if the ones that are marked for the evenings that we have stated as fiscal meetings, why we call those fiscal meetings and they're handled differently than a fiscal meeting. So maybe those should be classified working sessions as well? I don't know. That's just something
They've
to add
always
to
been
it.
that, so I don't know the history of, it's just a committee meeting that was scheduled ahead of time.
But the full board sits and hears it and gives input.
Yeah.
Unlike the committee with just the 3 or 4.
Yeah, which I think it just sort of deteriorated in terms of process. I don't have skin in the game. I think we can do anything we want to do.
It used to actually be considered just a presentation. It wasn't a fiscal meeting, it was just a presentation of the budget. And it somehow in the last couple of years was titled I think when Lori was here, she titled it as a committee meeting, but in the past, they weren't really considered committee meetings, they were just considered budget presentations.
Prior to the board meeting.
Okay, so let's take a hard,
Well,
maybe our
we'll
fiscal
figure
folks
that
can
out.
think through whether they need to be repurposed or changed in any way. And for those of you that want working sessions, can you give some thought about what that looks and feels like? It sounds like you've listened to some working sessions, so spare me from listening to other boards' working sessions. And if you could come with some, structure ideas for the remainder of the board members to see how they feel about it. So we will discuss in more detail. That's it. Okay, we're moving on then to public comments regarding anything else. Amy Wright, you're back on.
Fantastic. So do I have 3 minutes again?
Yes.
All right, I'll try to talk faster. All right, so where I left off was saying that we should be investing in our school, not scaring our children into thinking we can't afford their American right of free education. The money is there, it's in our savings, and it is shown factually we have a larger reserve fund percent-wise by a large margin than any other district in Bucks, Montgomery, Lehigh, and Northampton counties. Why are we not using this money on things we need? Of course, savings are important and rainy day funds are necessary, but only 20% is recommended by the PDE. We are at 53.5%. That was the last statistic I found. Come to actually look at our facilities and talk to those of us whose second home is our classroom. When I share this fact, people ask me, well, what are you guys saving money for? And the truth is, I have no answer. Do you? I would like to help me understand why that is. Here we are tonight talking about raising taxes. I am sure these parents who are looking at other schools, some of who are educators themselves, are willing to spend between $10,000 and $20,000 to get their kids educated elsewhere, would be happy to pay more taxes to get a better education here. But I don't even see why that's necessary with our savings. Now, generally back to the decline and the reason I came to inform you of families leaving. There are 3 groups of kids that I would like to talk about. If you look at our enrollment numbers in the past 10 years, our homeschool population has over doubled. That is now almost 11% of our school age population being homeschooled. That is twice as much as any other district in Bucks County. An additional 5% go to charter schools. So that works out to be 1 in 6 kids that are going to homeschool, to be homeschooled or to a charter school. Now, for the 3rd group, I am extremely curious to know how many kids are going to private or religious schools. I do not have access to that information. Maybe you know that number, and I would appreciate if someone would supply that information to the public. My guess is that it's comparable to our homeschool rates. We need to be working on doing what we can to bring these kids back. Sure, our population is decreasing because of lack of housing, affordable housing, but how about we build a better reputation, one where families would want to send their kids to our district. Historically, public education was not a business per se, but in today's world, you have to offer the best in order to retain students. We are capable of being the best. We can offer a high quality education, small classes, differentiation to meet all needs, high and low, and produce results that we can be proud of. All of these are in jeopardy, and I feel like it's taken years to create this much destruction. I am not talking about increasing salaries. I am talking about increasing resources, facilities, and offerings. I am being dramatic here because I have a multitude of reasons to keep this community of learners moving forward. I have been with this district for 22 years, and now as a parent, I am seeing the other side. Although I am here tonight to advocate on behalf of my 2 boys, I am used to advocating for my students and for my colleagues. When I voiced my concerns to several in administration, I was told, quote, Amy, you are selfish. A separate time, I was told, quote, you should have been a PE teacher. Or, quote, Amy, the community wants a vo-tech education. That is what we've heard. So that felt very dismissive to my purpose as an educator and a mom. I want a solid education for all kids. I get that we need students to identify that my carburetor is not working and to be able to fix that for me. But we also need doctors, scientists, lawyers, all occupations. We at Palisades are setting up the foundation for these kids to try, to learn how to learn, to foster inspiration, to prepare these kids all the way from kindergarten. I have been asked not to be so emotional about it, but I take those statements I mentioned above to heart because I strive every day to show up for my students, even though I am spread too thin, as is the majority of our staff. I would hope that this company that is hired to do the population review would shed some light on all of this. And if not, I would think Palisades should be asking this tough question. Why exactly are families choosing something else? If everyone good and everyone who cares leaves students and faculty alike, what are we left with? The comprehensive plan is now underway, and I truly do believe you all care. The time to start acting is now.
Thank you, Mrs. Wright. Welcome. Okay, Joanne Allen?
I want to thank you very much for your courage to come up here this evening. I know that was a lot, and we greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I had 2 children graduate from here, very successful in 99 and 2002. I'm very proud of this school. I continue to come to these meetings. I continue to raise money for this school because I'm so proud of this. I had my kids go to a different school than this. They went from kindergarten till they graduated, and they loved it. And they had so many things offered to them, so many opportunities. And I still think we have so many opportunities for our kids. Maybe we need to have conversations with our teachers and find out what we're lacking. And also, why are these parents not coming in here and telling us? Don't wait till the end of the school year. Are you having a problem during the year? Come in and explain that to us. If we don't know what the problems are, how are we going to help them? So I don't know if that's happening or not, but I know I've always been very vocal, and you know that, and I feel bad that there's families that want to go off and go to a charter school or homeschool their kids, and I think they're missing out on a lot of great education. Just at graduation, we have 75 kids that were honored. I mean, I was so proud of those kids. Out of 121 kids, we had 75 that were honored. To me, that's amazing. We send our kids to the top-rated colleges. I don't think that we're, not serving who wants to be served, but I think the kids and the families also have to, come together and help us. I mean, we can't be individualized for every kid that comes through this district, but we do our darn best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen. Now I'd like to open it up to any community members or anybody in the audience that would like to come up and speak. If you wouldn't mind, when you come up, give us your name and your township of residence.
Very good. My name's Calvin Hunsinger, Springfield Township. I'm one of the 4 dirt farmers in here. It was said long ago that if we were to wait for government to tell us when to sow and when to reap, we should soon want for bread. So unless you farm, you don't know what kind of hours we put in, period. End of story. How many times did your baler break this past 2 weeks, Jim? Twice?
3 times.
Mine was twice. I was gonna come in as Mr. Meese has some man glitter hay dust on him, but I decided to shower and shave so I didn't scare anybody. Ag farmers owe their existence to the fact that there's a 3-inch layer of fertile soil and that it rains. We're dirt rich and cash poor. Comparison of our tax increases or lack thereof is a specious argument unless the mean income levels are similar or exactly the same. I'm not opposed to paying taxes so long as there's fiduciary responsibility and positive results. So if you haven't gathered by now, although my manner of speech is Pennsylvania because I was born outside of Pittsburgh, we moved from Western PA because the school district wanted Farmer Grubbs' land. and they taxed them out of existence. Eminent domain. Now it's a posh, yuppie community. All right, and all the ag land that I grew up on out there from the age of 5 to 12 when we moved to the Palisades School District is gone. Every single farm. So years ago, the area was asked, preserve your farm, give up your development rights, and the people did. So if you stop and think about it, farmers get hit with death tax, and they're trying to adjust that. So it makes it almost impossible to hand the land down. And then let's throw in the commodity pricings. I make hay. I don't do what these guys do. Or you, good sir. All right? I play at farming. I'm retired. I'm a forestry school graduate. The forestry school, we had a motto: bigger, better, faster, cheaper. You, sir, talked about moving forward in consolidation. It's a good idea. It shouldn't be bumped down the road, because the longer you wait, the worse the problem becomes. It festers like an open wound that's not given any treatment. We're dirt rich and cash poor. I think I might have said that. I can't. When I lived in Belvedere, New Jersey, 40% just in that town of all the properties were controlled by the state or county government. Guess what? That meant no tax revenue. Yet their budget kept going up, 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 up. So at some point, the rubber's got to meet the road. Right? Cash isn't going to fall from the sky. And again, not opposed to paying taxes, but death by 1,000 paper cuts is what I'm concerned about. I saw it happen out in Western PA as a child. And I'm watching what has happened to areas like Richland Town. Oh, they got all kinds of corporate warehouses, etc. How many in here remember Trainer's Restaurant, Trainer's Corners? You know the interchange there at Hellertown for Route 78? I farmed that with Tom Meyer, Kirkland Farm, and I was working my way through the forestry school. 40,000 bales of alfalfa. That was some hard, hot work out in that sun. And I'm none the worse for wear because of it. But that ag land disappeared. All right. We want population growth so that the tax base increases. Where's it going to come from? You start plugging in more housing. Now that puts pressure on people who initially said, hey, preserved land is great, until it isn't. My fear, my parents' fear when they preserved the farm was at some point there would be a change of heart. And when I pass, what happens to the land? I don't have any heirs. So does the next landowner get to carry over the preserved land? Or does that disappear and then they carve up that farm?
Sir, I want to thank you for your comments. We will be here to talk afterwards. Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? Okay, seeing none, we will move to board comments, compliments, and concerns. Director Ramos, do we want to start with you tonight?
For those all who came up and spoke tonight, I just want to say thank you very much for your comments. Had a lot of discussion here this evening. It does not fall on deaf ears. I will say it again, as I said before, things are not going to get better. Everyone's tightening their belts, and working together, we can make things happen in our community and I just want to reiterate what Mr. Burton had brought up. He brought up a slide of the other districts that raised their rates, some greater than 6%. I think we do a good job managing here. Can we do better? Yes, we can always do better. It's input from the community, from individuals like yourself, from our school board members, and how we have to decide where we're going to go next. And I believe this group of directors here with our superintendent, we're going to do a hard look in the upcoming year and where we're going to head in that direction to work out the issues that are definitely in front of us. I'd like to wish everyone thank you for coming this evening and have a great upcoming weekend. And if you're not here in 2 weeks, have a great 4th of July.
First and foremost, I want to congratulate the graduates from Palisades for this year. I was unable to make the graduation, but it's always a special time, and I want to wish them the best. And I also want to wish every person that's associated with this school district that touched those kids all those years to get through here. And that's everything from providing lights to be turned on so that they could see, their paperwork, to our technical staff to make sure that, their Chromebooks and other accessories could work, to the teachers, principals, just everybody, because without anybody in that cog, the cog stops working. So, and I think that's, part of the many things that makes, our educational system special. I do also want to thank everybody that came to the meeting tonight and came up and spoke. It's not easy to do that. I don't think we're too intimidating, but I know it's still not comfortable to do it. And especially if you're associated with the school district in a special way, that is extremely difficult to do. And I honestly wish more would do it. We need input from the community, constructive input from the community. We want to hear your concerns, and we truly do listen. I do feel it necessary just to be on record that there is apparently a little bit of a misunderstanding when it comes to our budget and what our general fund is and percentages and so forth. So I would just encourage anybody that has a question about that to please reach out to any of the board members, or in particular the people that are on the fiscal committee. And you just heard who was reappointed treasurer, so I'll point him out to you.
Thank you, Scott.
But once again, thank you, for everybody coming out and speaking. And once again, congratulations to all the students that are graduating, but specifically our 12th graders. So thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, as we're talking about budgets and thinking about budgets and, all this about budgets and money, the one thing that does not cost the district any money is the 9 of us. And, think about that. We come out every month, a couple times a month, depending on how many committees we're on. Jim and I are on the JOC, so we also have the JOC meetings. I mean, we put a lot of time and effort into this, and not to toot my own horn, but I read through the agendas. I go through. It's a lot of time and effort, and I'm grateful to be able to do it. I love doing it, and I appreciate all of the board members here. I think we have a good rapport, and I think we work well together, and we can share things and talk about things, and I hope we're appreciated in some way, and if not, we have to do what our constituents have voted us in to do. And if I look bad because I didn't vote to approve the budget, it's because I know from hearing from people that we've got to pull in, and we've got to be more careful with our finances. We're responsible for that. We have a roll call vote, and we have to vote yes or no on a budget that is going to affect every single one of us in this room and all of our districts. So I'm just trying to let you know it's not an easy It's not an easy seat. But thank you.
I'd just like to show my appreciation for the work that the staff and everybody's doing to have our exceptional students. In particular, our athletes are amazing. I mean, I ran track here and I thought I did okay, but I didn't do near as well as these kids. So kudos to everybody that is able to do that.
So I second everything that they've all said, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the young man. Was it Lincoln that got hurt, and hope that he's doing okay. And that's it.
Yeah, I'd just like to say congratulations to the seniors that graduated last Friday. I wasn't able to make the ceremony. And thank you to all the teachers and the staff for this year.
I would say congratulations to the students that were recognized this evening, the athletes, but also our History Day contest winners. I just think that is so amazing to hear the number of participants that they had and where they placed. And I could see the young man. I couldn't see the young lady so well, but he was just really proud of his accomplishments and what he had done. And I would love to see their presentations, because that just tells me that we're doing good things for students.
Thank you to everybody who came out tonight. Graduation was amazing. The weather was amazing. And just seeing all the students and the awards and hearing the speeches. And as always, Sylvia, your speech was amazing as well. And I actually cried, which never happens. So thank you for that.
Okay, my turn. Thank you, thank you. Oh, she's gonna go. All right. She's tired, she's gonna cry. Graduation is beautiful, and certainly I had a graduating daughter, so, you know, the emotions were high, but it's one of my favorite nights. We have our first responders there. We have our security presence. We have so many teachers. We have our administration. We have alumni, so many. It is a community event in this beautiful way, and it was the world's most perfect day. I mean, you couldn't have ordered a better day if we tried, ordered a better day. So absolutely beautiful to see the community come together to celebrate those children, whether they won all the awards or none of them. It was really an emotional and a wonderful day. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Tonight was hard. You know, we have some really hard decisions ahead of us, and I think this was just one of them. And we know you all have different issues, and I wish we could sit here and say that the solutions were simple. If they were simple, they'd be done. But I think we are constantly at it. We don't always agree, not in a bad way, but constantly coming at problems in different ways and trying to figure out if we can go this way or that way. And it does take a lot of time and effort. And oftentimes, you know, it's a game of checkers. You move one thing. And I have to say that though I don't know that the community will ever see it, or the staff will ever see it, or, you know, our farmers will ever see it, but we are actively trying to make progress with every single meeting and every single move we make, though they're tiny little steps. And hopefully those tiny little steps forward add up to something just wonderful for all of us. But that is really the reality of our positions. Sometimes we're locked into processes and schedules and things that can be hard to make meaningful progress quickly. But we all, I think, have our hearts in it. The administration does, the staff does, our teachers do. I think our whole community does. So all I can say is together we keep trying. And that's what I think the best we can do as a community, as a board. So that I think we can end with, that we will commit to continuing to try. And with that, I will look to Mr. Hollowell, who always sees me down.
I would make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Hollowell. We have a second?
Second, Scott, seconds.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 9-0. Good night, everyone.